We're back in the freezer with Fail Squad games. Stick around, I'll tell you about it. Hi, folks. Old Man Grognard back, and we've got another great module from Fail Squad games. This one is called Winter Eternal. Now, this is by Lloyd Metcalf for use with his Lands of Lunacy setting, but it's very, very flexible. This is the 1E/Ostrich version you're looking at. They also have a 5E version. This just came out of Kickstarter, so let's take a look. The whole story is another land of lunacy, basically, that takes place inside a snow globe, where it is always winter. And it is for levels 3 to 4. Here it is, by the way. Nice cover, huh? It's 24 pages, and it's recommended. And almost, this is a cleric's adventure. You can have a regular party, but it's like you really need like a cleric or a druid or some kind of holy man with a holy symbol to do this right. Because here's how it goes. The lord of this domain is a wizard wight named Malden. Now, him and his beloved got sucked into this thing. In fact, that's how probably the PCs are going to get into it. And he ended up getting turned into a wight. And his fiance, beloved, whatever, managed to get frozen. So you got your classic Batman Mr. Freeze scenario going on here, because he's trying to get a spell to get her out. He's been doing this for quite a while, and he doesn't have the last thing he needs is a holy symbol to destroy to complete the spell and release her. Okay, that's the whole setup. Now, how your player characters interact with this, once again, it's up to the game master. This is some kind of artifact they find, or somebody drops it, or they find it in a dragon's hoard. Any number of ways, I'm sure devious DMs can do it. And once they get in there, the only way to get out is to destroy him and his scrying device, which looks like the snow globe, only huge. Think of a Tolkien Palantir, only like, huge size. Something like that. So, now, I'm sure they're sympathetic to him to a certain extent, but, they still have to do this because, he's going to complete the spell. That's why he says you need a holy man in there, because he's waiting for a holy man with a holy symbol. He's just like, and he's got like unseen servants and ice zombies and mephits at his beck and call. So they've been put on alert. Once the player characters land there, if they got a cleric or somebody, boom, he'll know it. Just like Straw, it's like a domain of Ravenloft. The guy will know. So he will do his utmost to get it from them. Now, inside this realm, there is also a sanctuary. There's an underground sanctuary that got created from one of the other parties that went missing or died or whatever in there. And so they get the help of an unlikely ally, a steam gnome. A steam elemental. And I'm just going to leave it at that. There's a lot of neat tricks and traps. Let's take a look at the book. Beautiful two-column layout, of course. It's color this time. So he's got the color thing going. That's the tower which they have to storm and get rid of them, because you got to get rid of the wights and the scrying device, the Palantir. That's an ice zombie. Isn't that cool? I like that. And it's also got all the things that the Land of Lunacy. It's helpful to have the book with you. Here's the sanctuary part, the hidden sanctuary that's there. And it's got some other neat things in there, like these guys who I think they're gas, who walk around a pool or something like that. And it's really helpful that you make friends with the steam elemental, because he will help you if you mind your P's and Q's. And here's a cutaway of the tower. That's my kind of cutaway. I've seen other cutaways where they go, you know, I've seen side views of dungeons before, and it's like, yeah, that's all well and good. It's nice to know how it's fit together, but how big are the rooms? Because you're giving me a blank dungeon, and you tell me what's in the room, but you don't tell me how big it is, and I just sort of kind of I gotta look at the picture and kind of ballpark it. But this one, he actually does it in 3/4 view, which is nice. It also comes with the write-ups, of course, of the monsters and things. And one thing I really like is he did Lands of Lucy, he did this with it. I hope he keeps doing this kick-ass character sheet that I actually love. And it all fits into the Lands of Lunacy rather seamlessly. And the Lands of Lunacy can fit rather seamlessly into your campaign. That's what I love about this thing. I called it Ravenloft Light when I first reviewed it. And this even goes to prove it. Because it just, it's a one-shot. It says it right in here. It's on the back. It's a one-shot. But that's okay. That's okay. It gives you an example how a Land of Lunacy can be built, how a Land of Lunacy can work. You don't need all that much. It's basically a side adventure. And you can do many, many side adventures. To me, I think of it as not only Ravenloft Light, but I think of it as a kind of the D&D role-playing version of a good anthology TV series. A la Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, Night Gallery, those kind of things. Because it doesn't really interrupt the flow of the adventure that you're on if you're on one. If you're taking a break, you just stop, you just ended one and you haven't started the other one, you can do this little side thing. You can even do this in the middle of a really important quest or some kind of adventure you can do with the player characters, because they get sucked into this thing. They come out at like a second after they came in, so they're not losing time or anything like that. Time works different inside the globe. In fact, time works probably different inside of each Lands of Lunacy, but you've got to make sure take it as it comes. Anyway, Lloyd Metcalf did this. I'm going to point down there to the Fail Squad site, because this recently came off of Kickstarter, and I haven't been able to find much on the way of Drive Through RPG or RPG Now. So I'm going to send you the website. I believe it's about, I'm just ballparking here, it's $12 to $15. I thought I was looking around. Also, it gets confused that there's a Savage Worlds setting called Winter Eternal 2, which they acknowledge in the back says nothing to do with Winter Eternal from such and such a game. But you know the difference between that, because that's a post-apocalyptic thing and it has nothing to do with cold or anything like that. So it behooves you to have the Lands of Lunacy setting book, but you don't have to. This can go into any version of D&D as far as I'm concerned. They do have a 5e version. Doing an OSRIC or 1e version and a 5e version is kind of handy, because they both kind of cover their own butts. What they do is this covers everything up to like 2nd edition. And the OSRIC version, or not the OSRIC version, the 5e version will cover everything from 5e on down to like 3rd. Because it's easier, it's easy to deal with this, and it's easier to, you don't have to do a lot of reverse engineering with this, but it's easier to do it on the bottom end from basic up with this one, and it's easier to do it with the 5e version from the top down from 5th. So I recommend it. Go get it. I'll put as much information as I can down below, and it's a great module. He does quality stuff. It really is, and that's all I got for you right now. So if you want to tell me about it, you want to talk about it, if you want to talk about Lloyd or Fail Squad game, anything you want, give me a shout at Grognard@gmail.com. So Until next time, bye-bye.